Am I the asshole for taking up my wife's workout time?
I, 33 male, try to run several times a week, but I do it in the mornings, like 6-ish, because of work, and it will gives me an hour with our baby and toddler to help with the morning before the day starts. My wife, 30 female, is a STAHM and likes to work out at a gym and yoga studio.
Both which are great because they offer childcare.
Generally, the plan is that I run in the mornings before everyone gets up, and she works out in the morning during the workday because there's childcare.
I know that she often prefers the early morning classes at her gym and yoga studio and will sometimes schedule it so that she can go and I just run during lunch or late afternoon. My job is flexible and mostly async, thankfully. I will say that I prefer early mornings runs because it starts my day off right, and it's really hot and humid where we live right now. This week, we planned on me running every morning. On our walk last night, she asked, "There's no any chance me being able to work out in the morning, is there?" I just kind of replied with saying I'd prefer to run in the morning and also referenced the heatwave we're currently in. Fast forward to this morning, I woke up, got ready, and at around 6 a.m. decided to not run. I started having migraines yesterday afternoon, I think because of the heat, and hoped they would be resolved by the morning. I got back upstairs where she's getting ready for the day. She's instantly mad at me, saying things like, "This is unfair. Why don't you think of me? I sacrifice so much for you. You've ruined my whole day." She then starts to cry and continues saying how unfair it is and how much I don't think of her. She goes downstairs and comes back upstairs to again say how I don't think of her. I tell her that I didn't purposely try to ruin her day and that I can't control if I'm not feeling well. I apologize, saying it wasn't my intent. She says intent doesn't matter. I tell her that her reaction is poor. She says I should have woken her up so she could go work out. "If you were so deathly ill, you could have told me." At the point, she wouldn't have made it to a class. Both the gym and yoga studio are 20+ minutes away. I totally get being frustrated. It makes sense. I did tell her during the armament that her reaction was poor and it was akin to a 4-year-old not getting her snack. Should not have done that in hindsight. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole for this particular issue, but agree that something else is clearly bothering your partner. Seems like one of those situations where this was her last straw and caused her to blow up. Maybe try talking about it more deeply at the end of the day, without being accusatory. Info: this seems like it's just a symptom of a larger problem, to be honest. Sure, her reaction does seem like a bit much, but this does feel like you're not seeing the forest for the trees. Info: do you always choose the time you want first and leave her to work around you? Here's the bigger issue. She's carrying the weight of the entire household and fitting her only, me, time into the gaps that you allow. Your time is your time, hence why you can run or not run depending on how you're feeling, but her time is essentially shared with you and the kids. I'm sure that she would like to get her day started with a workout just like you enjoy. Take the argument over the workout as indicative of this larger time robbery issue and really hear what she's saying to you. You are the asshole. Not just for the gym thing, but for brushing off her feelings and thinking you're automatically right. But also for the gym thing. You know she's dealing with a baby all the time, but you couldn't even remember her long enough to say a couple words so she'd know she could work out. She told you what the underlying problem is, you just weren't listening. She feels she has sacrificed a lot for you, but that she isn't a priority to you in the same way. I wonder, is this the first time she's brought up feeling like there's a power imbalance and priority mismatch in the relationship? Am I the asshole for asking a girl, what's her highest level of education? I am from the UK. I, 33F, was at my dad's birthday party the other day and we invited family and his close friends. My uncle Harry, Dad's brother, recently divorced from his wife to be with someone younger, Jess. Mum and I are close to my aunt, Harry's ex, so we have already had some dislike towards Jess. Mum actually had invited Harry alone with no +1. Aunt refused to come since he was there, but their kids came, but he brought her along anyway. Jess looked super young, but she said that she was of age. Throughout the party she shocked us with a few things she said. 1. When we were talking about travels, she said Harry brought her to France and it was her first international travel and to a European country. Crowd was stunned and she was denying that she is technically European and UK is in the European continent. She got angry and said, "Are you lot not up to date?" We left Europe ages ago. 2. She thinks north is up. 3. She never locks her car because no one can start it without her keys anyway. 4. She thinks having unprotected sex when pregnant with one baby will create twins. This is just what I can remember.
Just so you know, we didn't really ask her all of this. The conversation with other ladies went over these subject matters, was hijacked by her each time, and she gave us her thoughts on that, so it's not like we were picking on her incessantly. The part where I got irritated was when my mom's friend was asking how my fertility treatments were going.
I am on hormonal drugs to induce ovulation.
Just chimed in saying that those drugs won't do any good and that I just have to eat right to repair myself.
She went on and on about how her friend who is strictly vegan is on her third now. I merely asked her what's her highest level of education out of curiosity, because if she only had high school or had a learning disability I was going to go easy on her.
Apparently that was wrong to ask. She soured and tugged Harry to leave the house. Dad is now telling me to apologize to her for being rude. Harry told him that she kept throwing tantrums about me being very arrogant and rude to her.
Dad said Jess grew up in an abusive home and had a rough upbringing. As if that will explain her behavior and lack of general knowledge. Now I do feel a teeny tiny bit bad for what I said now that I know about her troubles, but she sort of hit a sore spot about telling me what to eat as if I hadn't consulted a professional to repair myself. Too long did not read. Asked her girl what her level of education was after suggesting me to eat right so that I can get pregnant. Gentle Esh. I merely asked her what's her highest level of education out of curiosity, because if she only had high school or had a learning disability I was going to go easy on her. I don't quite believe this. You concede that you were already _irritated_ by this point. The question feels targeted specifically to take her down a peg. And frankly, after suffering through all the nonsense spewing out of her mouth, you already knew everything you needed to about her intellect.
Well, it was more polite than asking her if she had ever been denied oxygen for a long period of time, especially during her developmental years, assuming she is out of them. So it was a teeny bit rude and condescending, but I'm inclined to give you a pass because she was begging for it with her remarks.
You're not the asshole.
Not the asshole, honestly. As soon as anyone offers me unsolicited medical advice, I ask them where their medical degrees are from, so I can't really fault you for this one. It sounds like you held your tongue on a lot of bullshit, and I don't know if I could have been so gracious all along. Harry sounds like a real creep dating someone this inexperienced with so much trauma in her young life. There's several ahs in this story, but especially the big hairy one who seems to be skating by with no questions or details, still getting invited to family events despite some seemingly reprehensible behavior.
Did Jess know about his status when their relationship started?
Being an idiot doesn't always equate to being an AH.
But your uncle really sounds like one. Not the asshole. In no situation is it right to comment on someone's medical treatment as if they knew more. Her level of education doesn't matter here. She was extremely rude, and her tantrums only show how immature she is. She doesn't get a pass for acting like a child. Not the asshole. You can't cure stupid, but you can fix ignorance. This girl seems woefully ignorant and quite happy to be so. She is embarrassing herself with the nonsense she spews, and someone needs to tell her. Am I the asshole for getting jeans that won't fit my sister? My sister, 24 female, is really upset with me, 16 female. Recently I bought a few new pairs of jeans. My normal size used to be about a 30, but over the course of a few months I lost a lot of weight and my size dropped to about a 25, or 24 depending on the brand. My sister had always been the skinnier of the two of us, so whenever she gained some weight she would borrow my jeans because she was too fat to fit into her normal pair, at 26, and my clothes were their only things that would fit her without her going out to buy new clothes. Yesterday I went to the mall with my friends and bought some new clothes because the majority of my wardrobe didn't fit me anymore. I bought a few tops, shoes, and 3 pairs of jeans. When I got home I put the clothes to wash and went to my room.
After about an hour my sister walked into my room, visually upset, holding my jeans.
I noticed she was carrying them and apologized to her because I assumed that they were done for a while, so I was hogging the washing machine and perhaps she wanted to put her load of clothes to wash. When I went to grab them from her she stepped away, not letting me take them. I asked her what's wrong and she asked whose jeans were these for. I told her they were for me and took them from her arms so that I can put them to dry. She replied by saying they're way too small. I answered by saying that they fit me very well and I already tried them on at the store to make sure. She scoffed and said, "Well, they won't fit me." I blinked and replied with, "Sorry, I guess you'll have to wear yours." She seemed even more upset and told me about how she gained weight and can only fit into my size. I listened and shook my head, replying that I'm not her size anymore. She left in a huff and I just watched.
I'm a bit confused and I'm wondering if I had said something wrong? A few hours later she texted me that I shouldn't get used to my body right now because it was just puberty helping me and that I will gain all the weight back quickly.
I don't know how to reply and I'm honestly a little concerned that maybe I was too insensitive about the situation.
So am I the asshole?
Update. Thank you guys so much for your comments and suggestions. I'm reading everyone's responses and believe I didn't say anything wrong. I do feel bad because maybe my words were just triggering for her. I haven't thrown out any of my old clothes because I was planning to sort through them to see what I can keep and what I can donate. I'll take some clothes out for her and see if she wants them. I'll update if anything.
The last message she sent me was a little questionable, saying, "You're going to get pregnant."
Completely lost on that comment, but I'm assuming maybe that was for someone else?
I'll give her the clothes tomorrow because I know she has some stuff to do the rest of the week and needs something to wear.
I really love my sister and hope she forgives me for anything I did to make her feel bad. For someone with such great clothing and size advice to give out, you'd think she'd just buy clothes in her own size. You did nothing wrong. She seems to be insecure about the change in your size. Unfortunately, it's an example of someone who can't just be supportive of you without comparing it to themselves. Not the asshole. Not the asshole.
A 24-year-old woman is capable of buying her own jeans. She shouldn't be depending on her little sister to provide her with them. You're not being insensitive.
Just give her the other jeans that don't fit you anymore if you want. Your sister is being rude and acting quite entitled. Not the asshole. You've done nothing wrong by buying new jeans that fit. This is unsolicited advice, but make sure you don't put your jeans in the dryer.
It sounds like your sister has been propping up her insecurity about her own weight gain with the mantra of, well, at least I'm still smaller than my sister. Now that that's not true anymore, it's a major blow to her ego because she doesn't have that crutch anymore.
Instead of dealing with her insecurity, she's taking it out on you. I'm sorry, she needs therapy. She's insecure and projecting because of her insecurity. It's not you being insensitive.
It's all on her.
Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Not only can your sister buy her own jeans, but couldn't she also just wear your bigger old jeans that she used to borrow? Also, I think your sister was a little out of line with some of her comments. My body weight also fluctuates, it's just a thing that happens to some people, so I like to keep my old jeans and then I have multiple sizes to choose from. Am I the asshole for making my husband's wife uncomfortable at my home? I meant my husband's aunt.
Lol, I don't know how to change the title.
Last weekend we had a barbecue at our place to celebrate my husband Mark on his first Father's Day.
His aunt and uncle met our 4-month-old daughter and were fawning over her.
Suddenly his aunt says, "Wow, she is so beautiful, are you sure she is Mark's?" I was a little taken aback but let it slide as a misguided compliment for my daughter.
A couple minutes later she repeats it, adding, "Well, no one in our family has blue eyes and I don't know if anyone in your family either."
Emily, me. Where did she get that from?
Any ideas? My grandfather had blue eyes but I didn't even mention it, I just looked at my husband and guys, fucking crickets, not a single word.
Finally she says, "Well, she has the same birthmark as Mark, his dad and uncles." I'm livid at this point and just sarcastically say, "Well, maybe she is really his Mark's, but it's a hunch, babe, don't celebrate Father's Day just yet, let's wait on this one." She was apologetic and says that her intention was only to say the baby is beautiful compared to Mark and quickly left. Well, since then my in-laws and husband are saying that I was cruel to respond to her innocent comments. I said that since Mark couldn't be bothered I had to respond. They insist here that my response was uncalled for and are saying that I was an asking for speaking like that to a guest. Did I cross the line? Not the asshole, she's beautiful, how could she be Mark's? Equals funny dig on Mark, given the right setting, family dynamic. Following up with how could she possibly have blue eyes? Equals wait, is she legit questioning the biological father of the baby? Awkward. Then to follow up with she has Mark's birthmark, as if finally here is proof she's Mark's.
Even if she was kidding, she's still the asshole, because no one laughed at the first 2 jokes. So she has to take full responsibility for taking it even further with a third.
I am old and maybe part of my indignation is knowledge. I learned a lot about genetics over the years, so maybe I am better educated than some. My partner works in the genetic, microbiology area. I don't like jokes about a child not looking their father, or not having certain traits. It really angers me due to my awareness of the genetics. This woman, your partner's aunt, didn't make one joke, but went on and on about it. That is poor taste. Once is a jest, in poor taste, and repeatedly is not a joke. It is bullying, intimidating, and insulting. They are turning it back onto you because they are rude people and have no manners. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. High five for calling her continued ridiculousness out. No, you are not the asshole. Good for you. Not the asshole. She made the same tired joke like 3 times. Not the asshole. See, I could believe that the first comment was a, in poor taste, joke about Mark being ugly. Everything after that was very pointed and not a dig at Mark's looks. Never mind the fact that saying such a thing about anyone is just garbage person behavior. Not the asshole. Does Mark understand his aunt was calling him ugly as well as suggesting he was raising another man's baby?